Okay, fine. I know you've all read the title to the video, and that's why a lot of you are here. And let me just put it out there before you all start coming from my head. I am actually saying this out of spite. This is not a for a fact. Khamzat deserves the title shot over Sean Strickland, but like I said, I'm just saying this out of it. I really don't like the guy Sean Strickland. I really don't like him. I really don't like his personality. I really don't like his fighting style. So I'm just saying this out of spite because I would rather any other person. Bro, at this point, I could even go further down the rankings and say, you know what? Anthony Hernandez. I probably would just pick Anthony Hernandez to get the middleweight title shot over Sean Strickland. But hey, from the looks of things, I know impressive display from Khamzat against Whittaker at UFC 308, but the fact remains for Khamzat is just fought one actual middleweight. His only other fight at middleweight was against Kamaru Usman, where Usman was making his middleweight debut and he came into that fight on 10 days notice. Of course, there's an argument for Khamzat to get this title shot, but right now I think Sean Strickland gets it. But honestly, left to me, I would, out of spite, I would want Khamzat to get it because right now is the one with the buzz. Honestly, really pained Whittaker didn't win that fight because if Whittaker had won that fight, I think would have made a better argument for someone else getting the title shot over Sean Strickland. But then for Khamzat, personally, I don't feel like that is such a strong argument for him to, get into the title shot at middleweight right this very moment. So, like I said, before you guys come from my head, I'm just saying this out of spite. But then another reason why I would actually low-key want Khamzat to get this title shot is because I just feel like that would be a more interesting fight than Sean Strickland versus DDP. We've seen that before. We've seen Sean Strickland and DDP before, and oh my God, was that a boring fight? I mean, of course, there have been more boring fights, but then, Sean Strickland's fighting style just makes these things just so hard to watch, man. So I honestly feel like a lot of people, when we come to when we're expecting entertaining fights, I feel like a lot of people would really enjoy a fight between DDP and Khamzat Chimaev more than a fight with Sean Strickland, a rematch with Sean Strickland. A fight between Khamzat Chimaev and DDP, would give us like I honestly feel like DDP is one fighter who could, at least go, not particularly go toe to toe with Khamzat in the wrestling department, but then, DDP is also not a slouch when it comes to wrestling. So this is someone I feel, can bring a bit of excitement to a fight against Khamzat compared to most of these guys who are just, boxing heavy and then he just comes and he ragdolls them. And of course, when you consider the freakish strength that DDP possesses, I doubt it will be easy for Khamzat to just, ragdoll him around the ring the way it's done to most of these other fighters. And if that really happens, if, Khamzat gets there, tries to ragdoll DDP, finds out, no, this guy is a freak, and then, it will be interesting to see how this fight then plays out. I feel this reminds me of the fight between Khamzat and Gilbert Burns, where, he went into the ring and it wasn't a wrestling heavy style from him. And, that was a really interesting fight. I think that was one of my best fights, if not my best fights for the year. I so much loved that fight. So, I feel like that's a potential setup for what DDP and Khamzat Chimaev would look like. So I really would love to see Chimaev get that title shot over Sean Strickland out of spite and for the sake of an interesting fight. Nobody wants to watch the title fight be boring for 24 minutes and 50 seconds, and then with 10 seconds left on the clock, you see Sean Strickland go batshit crazy. Like, bro, the fight is over. This is not the time for that. No, come on, bro. So, I feel like nobody wants to see that again. We've lived through it once, and I think it's fine to just leave it there. But then, I just have to chip this in there. As interesting as the prospect of Khamzat fighting for the title, we also have to consider the fact that this brother might start pulling out. Of course, between Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland is the more dependable fighter. I mean, when you check their track records, Sean Strickland is the more dependable fighter. So we know, if there's a setup for this match to happen with Sean Strickland, you are more than 90% guaranteed that the fight is going to happen. But even if Chimaev gets booked for a title match against DDP, what are the odds, bro? You know, we really have to ask ourselves that question. What are the odds? It's a matter of are we willing to risk that and then, you know, waiting for an opponent to jump in last minute to save the day, or we'll just rather go with Sean Strickland. And then spite aside also, I really don't, to be honest right now, I really don't want to experience the whining and crying we're going to get from Sean Strickland if he doesn't get that title shot. Because, you know, the way this man has been talking, you definitely want to give him that title shot. If he doesn't get that title shot, bro, it's going to be a lot of whining and crying on social media, and I, for one, I'm not ready for that. So, you know, let's just give the man his title shot. But in all fairness, I feel like for Khamzat, the best way to handle the Khamzat situation right now, you know, is, you know, he probably waits for the fight between Sean Strickland and DDP to happen. Probably takes on one more fight in that period. Hopefully he wins, and, you know, because of course, if he does get this title shot, you know, there will be talks of it being an unfair shot. You know, I could see the argument for that. Because really, if I'm being honest, he hasn't really done as much in middleweight yet, but, you know, he has all the buzz because of what he's done outside. But then, you know, at middleweight, it might in a way feel like an unfair shot is given. But then Strickland too kind of got that kind of treatment, but then that's just aside. But I feel like the best thing for the Khamzat situation right now would be for him to, you know, sit out the DDP and Sean Strickland rematch, and then whatever happens from that fight, whoever remains champion, you know, hopefully it's still DDP, but whoever comes out as champion from that fight, and then, you know, Khamzat can throw his hat in the mix and get a shot at the title also. That way, every involved party is happy, satisfied. Nobody feels denied. Nobody feels, of course, because I know even for Khamzat, as much as he knows his name is already being thrown into title conversations right now, I feel like he wouldn't feel hurt if he doesn't get the title shot next. I feel like Khamzat wouldn't get hurt as Sean Strickland would, you know. So just to keep everybody happy, and smiling, let's have the fight between Sean Strickland and DDP, and then whoever wins fights Khamzat Chimaev for the title, and then, you know, we can keep the peace and order in the middleweight division. Oh, so there you have it. I'm sorry if you came here to, you know, fight me or chop my head off. That was clickbait and you fell for it. Sorry about that. Can't promise I wouldn't do it again. Bye.